Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Vibing With Sleezy, the podcast. This is episode 9, getting very close to double digits at episode 10. This podcast has definitely been awesome so far. I appreciate all the support and love, all the feedback. You all have been great, and I appreciate you all listening. Today, I have a very special guest for episode 9. It is someone I have known since freshman year of high school. He comes straight out of Saratoga Woods in J-Town. He is from Louisville, Kentucky. He is probably, in my opinion, the best barber in the world. I'm not trying to build his ego up, but the dude knows how to cut hair. Also, he's a man of very interesting things, just like I am. We're definitely into different stuff. So, Frankie Blice is in the house. So, I wanted to definitely have him on because not only is he an avid podcast listener and someone who knows what a good podcast is, he's perfect for a podcast. So welcome to the show, Frankie.
What's up? Thanks for having me, my guy.
So how is the barber business going? How is cutting hair?
It's going good. Obviously, the last year was rough. You know, like a year ago, I was cutting in my house.
Oh yeah. Don't tell the governor.
Don't tell Andy.
Yeah. But, which I think at some points got a little crazy because. I'm not going to lie, I did cut my own hair at one point with some trimmers here because I didn't leave the house.
I'm still disappointed in you.
It was not the best look, but it got the job done. It took away the sloppiness. But so COVID, I know, did affect your business some sort, but it's, you have a loyal client base and everything. Something that I feel like will be very important for the listeners, and what's big on my show is taking something away, learning something. You have had a very interesting career path in the barber world. You started very early, which is something that some people don't do in the barber world, and you have worked your ass up all the way to getting your own shop. So it's something that you're pretty proud of, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky in the long run.
Yeah.
Some people don't start barber school until later, but it's life.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying to figure out what they want to do. I was lucky enough to where the first thing I tried stuck, and I loved it, and I still love it. And 12 years in, I got out of high school, went straight to barber school.
Yeah.
I really didn't get focused in high school until I knew that's what I wanted to do.
It proved that, and it proves too that time you've already now have pretty much got it down to expert level.
Oh, yeah.
And you've been putting in the work in the years, and it just proves if you put in the time, you're going to get to where you want to be.
It's anything.
Yeah, and that's something that I try to promote on this show is trying things, doing things, and I'm very proud of your journey. So you started out at a shop in the Hikes Point area. What was the name of that shop?
Fresh and Clean Barbershop, Hikes and Klondike.
I actually was a customer there. I'm going to be asked. I pretty much know all the answers to these questions, but I'm going to be asking these things so the listeners can learn.
Yeah, we go back.
Yeah, we go way back.
Before we start,
yes.
Gelato or wedding crashers?
Wedding crashers, 100%. 100%.
Let's
Yes.
get it going.
So the thing about it is pretty much with your barbershop business, you have to, being a barber, you have to start from the bottom like anything,
right.
Work your way to the top. So at this Hikes Point barbershop that you were working at, you pretty much were working with how many other barbers there?
When I started, there was, I think, 6 total, so I'm one of 6. And when I started, I was the only white guy there. You know what I mean? But I guess to really start, when I was in barber school, or even like senior year of high school, like Jersey Shore was like the biggest show on the planet.
Oh, yes.
And like that's kind of how I knew where the barber world and everything was going, because they were going to like Cuban shops and like Hispanic shops, and they were getting like all the clean, fresh fades, line work with razors, but like also like scissor cuts and everything. Like, so it was like a blend of both worlds,
And something bringing up Jersey Shore, something too, talking about barber is it's insane to how they were very judgmental with their cuts. Vinny was very particular. Vinny was like, I hate this cut. Like, I felt bad for the barber on TV who's literally like, oh shit, I got Jersey Shore on TV now. It's about to cut this guy's hair. Literally just murders this guy's haircut. Like what the hell? Like what's wrong with the back here? You taper the wrong. Like he's doing all that. So So you pretty much saw that there's a vision, that there's a growth, there's a business like potential with it. Everybody wants their haircut fresh. Well, I want mine fresh. You want yours fresh.
And the shop that I worked at, I went to my whole all through high school. You know what I mean? That was the shop that I went to. I became friends with those guys. I'm still friends with those guys today. Shout out Street, Maya, Lamont, KJ, Banks, Eli, everybody. They was all, real good. Dre, they was all real good to me. Took care of me and showed me the way.
I always felt very welcome in that shop. One thing I really liked about that shop was you would run into people, of course, but also to the talks in that shop. Barbershop talk is always a legendary thing that people relate to barbershops. Oh, I can't wait to go in there. Some people live to go to the barbershop because they just want a place to escape to be able to talk.
Yeah, for sure.
You all, the number one topic in that barbershop, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think was boxing. And boxing got very, very brought up every time I was in there.
That was because during that time, Mayweather was towards the end of his career, where he was running through cats, and the Pacquiao fight was
people wanted to fight somebody legit.
People wanted Pacquiao real bad, so a lot of that. But the number one topic of any barbershop, is UK U of L in Louisville.
Of course, in Louisville.
At that point. Yeah, Mayweather and Pacquiao and all that was a huge, but sports in general. I mean, it just depends on what season it is.
Yeah,
and then that's what's going to, reign supreme as far as the topics of conversation.
And what's great about it is you could sit in that barbershop and you might not have anything to chime in with. You might be from Chicago, Illinois, you're visiting your cousin, you see the haircut, and you're sitting there. You don't really even want to chime in, but you're laughing your ass off the whole time because people are arguing, debating. So I love that aspect of a barbershop because it does give you that family community feel, especially when you're going to a barber regularly. So with being over in that area, you pretty much decided you're going to work there, you're going to get your cuts in, and then you decide to go to the Mall St. Matthews to another barbershop. What was the name of that barbershop?
It's called the Corner Barbershop.
How many barbers were there at one time? 20?
There's like 24 chairs or something like that total. I don't think it never got completely full while I was there. When I started, there weren't even 10 yet. Because the shop was pretty new. It was only a few months old whenever I went over there. I worked at Fresh and Clean for 7 years.
Yeah,
built up a pretty good clientele. I was already my weekends were booked out. Through the week, I was still trying to fill those in. The mall was opening. That just looked like a good opportunity to keep building more, and it was only like 5 minutes from the shop that I was at. So,
and this is way before COVID, guys. So people are walking through the mall. There's mall flow. So Frankie's thinking of all the people that could come in, and when I was in that barbershop, I'll tell you what, that barbershop was very interesting. I've followed you everywhere you've gone. And I feel like at the mall, you have so many personalities, so many people, so many different customers coming in. And it was interesting sometimes just to sit there and be waiting for your haircut or even sitting in your chair watching around. And so then you eventually got to a point where you were like, I want to start my own shop. And you started this shop, and this is where you're located now. Talk about that shop.
Right. So we were at the mall for probably 2 years. That's where I met Trey and Razor. Well, I knew Razor throughout the years from being all in the music scene and stuff.
And if people aren't familiar with when we say Razor, Razor, very big rap artist very locally, very close with Jack Harlow, a great guy. So that's just so people know what we mean when we're talking Razor.
Trey Hurley, Trey Cuts the City. Those are the homies. We all just kind of put our heads together. Once the mall had ran its course, ownership is what it is. It's not being taken care of as well as it could be. But when you're a barber for that long, you kind of get to where you're a little nitpicky anyway. You kind of want to run your own stuff anyway. So Razor's the one. He found the location right in the middle of the Highlands, across from Nirvana.
It's a perfect location.
Perfect. And then right when we moved in, the sneaker company, sneaker store, streetwear, they moved in at the same exact time, and it was just kind of everything came at this perfect time. So, the mall just ran its course. We put our heads together, wanted to get our own started. that was the perfect location for it. And we've been out there for over 3 years now.
What I love is
and
what I love is it's a journey that you've done. Mm-hmm. You're not just graduating, going straight to a shop, and you're like, hey, we're just gonna cut hair here, see how it goes. You have worked your way up. You now, I feel like, have such a secure client base, and you know, when I walk in that shop, man, that shop is impressive. You all have it all laid out with great artwork, posters. It got comfortable seating. So definitely, you know, if you're looking to get your haircut, definitely go to Frankie's shop, get a haircut. If Frankie can't get you, there's somebody there that will get you right. The thing about it is that I want to draw back now. So we've kind of talked about your journey. I'm going to ask you some questions that are some barber basics, some things that I've asked you over the years. And again, some of these answers I might already know, but this is important stuff for people to learn. Sure. So barber renting a chair, I guess the way to phrase it, a lot of people don't realize that is what you're doing. When you're a barber, you're renting your own chair.
Right.
Explain that process.
So you're an independent contractor.
Okay.
So whenever you go to barber school, you're going to get your barber license. You got to renew that every year, but you're also an independent contractor. You need an independent contractor's license. So if you don't own a shop, then you go look for a shop. Now, there's two ways to do it. Some shops do booth rent, where you're paying your rent weekly, and you're making whatever else you make. You know, so you know what your overhead is for that week.
Yeah.
Other shops, they do percentages.
Okay.
Which I don't really agree with that way of doing things, because if you're doing percentages, then the best barber in the shop is making the same amount as the worst barber in the shop.
Exactly.
So you're just sitting there and you're an assembly line. Whoever comes in, they're going to the next barber available. You know, which is fine. You know, this is the way you want to do things. You like a steady paycheck where you know what you're making. You know, but there's no room for growth essentially.
Which is big in any business.
Yeah. Yes. So you want to, I think paying a booth rent somewhere and then knowing what your overhead is, knowing what your goal is, what you're trying to get to, you know what I mean? That makes everything a little bit, gives you more motivation, things to strive for.
How important is the chair? And what I mean by that is, like, have you cut hair in a chair that you just hate the chair?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what are some qualities that go into a barber chair that you're just like, I need to have it?
Well, the chairs we got now are like thrones. You know what I mean? Like, they're nice, they're bulky, they're easy. They're easy to move around and to swing around. But when you're sitting in them, it's just comfort level. You feel supported. The original shop I was in before they had upgraded. Yeah. They had salon chairs, which are, kind of smaller, a little bit less supportive. And then the mall, since there's 24 chairs, his way of doing things was just get the biggest, cheapest chairs you can get. Yeah. Fill that shop up.
Fill that up, yeah.
So it is what it is, I don't want to talk shit about anybody's business,
100.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I appreciate everybody I've ever worked for. I appreciate everything anybody's ever done for me. So it's not about bashing anybody. But
you're definitely an appreciative person.
100. Yeah. But whenever you get your own, then you can tweak things the way you want to, and you can put the money in that you want to, and take ownership of everything. So, you want your client to feel special. Mm-hmm. You want them to feel like, in a comfortable spot. I mean, the chair I got now, cats fall asleep at all. Yeah. Every day.
And I'll be honest with you. I mean, you do have a very comfortable, the chair is extremely comfortable in your shop. So another question that I have for you when it comes to barber, so barber school,
yes, sir.
How long does barber school last?
So, it takes you longer to be a barber than it does to be a cop.
That's disgusting.
And I like to throw that in there because
that is disgusting.
Because to train to be a cop is fucking easy as shit these days. So, it takes you 9 months if you go full time without stopping. You have to get 1,500 hours. So if you go 40 hours a week and you don't miss time, you can get it done in 9 months. But I was lucky. I was still living at home. I was fresh out of high school. So that's easier for someone like that to accomplish. Yeah. If you're going 40 hours a week, like a full-time job. I know some people, while I was in school, they were 30, 40 years old, coming from all parts of the state, driving up every morning, getting their hours in. I can see. I mean, that would be hard to do. I was 18 years old still. Living at home.
It can be extremely exhausting. To just like once you get to that level and that dream and you get the career, it's all good. You look back, you're like, oh, it all paid off. But it takes so much sometimes with school. I mean, right now I'm in real estate school. It's a process. I'm halfway through. I mean, you just got to pump the hours in. You're pumping the hours in the barbershop. Gentleman that we both mutually know, Bobby Clark. I see he's putting the hours in at barber school and working his way to get up to the barber world. So you
he goes to the same school I went to.
Okay, and shout out that school. Where is that school?
Yeah, American College of Barbering. Josh Fackler, he's the owner.
Okay.
I'm actually supposed to go back here soon so I can get my instructor's license.
Nice.
So that's like something I'm shooting for here soon.
Oh, and you can help aspiring barbers and get them ready.
Yeah.
Do you feel like okay, so you have to have items, of course, to cut hair. Do you feel like it's easy to learn what all you need as a barber? Like, is there something where you've, in the beginning, were cutting someone's hair and then you're like, you know what, shit, I don't have this. And I got the whole barbershop's packed. Nobody's going to let me borrow this. Like, I mean, what are some of the key items you have to be a barber?
So when you sign into barber school, and whenever you pay your first initial dues or whatever, you get a kit. So that is part of it. That's
dope.
So you get a kit with, a set of clippers, set of trimmers, some of the basics, you know what I mean? You get some shears, some thinner shears. You don't get everything you need. One thing that you don't get, well, I can't speak for today. This is 13 years ago.
It was a decade.
But I didn't get a shaver, like those electric shavers that I use. Those are really important, especially when you're doing tight fades. You want to do bald fades. You want to, if you're doing a lot of beard work, you have to, anything that involves shaving.
It's like a smoothing device almost.
It's more efficient and quicker than a straight razor, which I mostly use my straight razor for line work and for, edging and, detail work more so than I do for just balding. So
did you get anxiety using a straight razor in the beginning?
I just used it on myself at first.
Okay.
So I just knew if I could use it on myself, because when you're using it on yourself, you're looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
So you're using it backwards, So I just always felt if I can use it on myself and I'm comfortable enough using it on myself backwards in the mirror, doing it on someone else would be easy work.
Easy way.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's something I've always known is important in barber. And people want that razor work, and you have definitely gotten to a level where you're comfortable with it. I know that there's different brands in the barbershop game. So with products, what are some key brands that you would buy in the barber world?
Andis and Wall are the two main ones.
In that Wall is WAHL, correct?
WAHL, and then Andis is ANDIS.
Okay.
Those are the two main brands. I personally use Caliber
Okay.
Pro. That's a different clipper brand that's not as well known, but
shout out to Caliber Pro.
Yeah, they actually the owner came into my shop.
Wow. Yeah.
He was just in town and he just decided to make the runs through barbershops.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he had all these clippers just ready to go. And he me and Razor were in the shop. He's like, hey, if y'all want to try anything out, just be free, use it.
Yeah.
If you like them, I got everything here. Best salesman I've ever seen. You know what I mean? And
that's incredible.
And he stood by his product because he knew we were gonna love him.
I mean, that's really dope that he comes into your shop. You're ready to use this product. You're comfortable with this product, and it's like he chooses your shop. There's so many shops in town. You drive around town in Louisville. Louisville's a pretty big city, one of the top 35 biggest cities in the country, and you see all these different shops, and your old shop just stands out because there's someone always in a chair, and there's someone always there, and business is always booming. I guess that's a big phrase people like to say, but business is always booming for you. Let me ask you a question, and you are a native of Louisville. You've been born and raised here, just like I have. What importance for people listening that are outside of Louisville, maybe not even been here? How important is the Highlands to Louisville?
The Highlands is my favorite area. We have other areas blowing up like Nulu and stuff, but I mean Highlands is just the artsy, very liberal part of the city where you know what you're gonna get when you're out there. I mean, I like the vibe, I like the scenery, the way it the way it looks.
100,
You know,
yes.
I like all that. It's just so it separates itself from the rest of the city so much.
It is.
But I mean, just the art part of it, like you see all these different local shops, local restaurants, local street gear stores. You just have everything that you could possibly want. You know, if you live in the Highlands, sometimes you might not even need to drive places like New York City. You know, obviously not big, but you have everything that you need in walking distance if you wanted to. You know, and you got all the scooters if you want. You know, there's just so many different things you could do. And the Highlands is, you know, it's a whole lot of energy, especially now. Like last year, it hasn't been like it's supposed to be or like you're used to it, but now that it's warming up and kind of COVID feels like it's going away, or it just feels like every day there's more life being, you know, breathed into the Highlands area. So I'm happy about it. It's getting back to normal, and that's what I love. Yeah,
and that's it's a very creative area, part of town, very historic. Has, you know, the good thing about the Highlands, in my opinion, is a lot of businesses just like yours are beginner businesses, new businesses. You know, you've been around for a few years, but businesses that are staying around for years, and they've been there for so long. You know, there's a guy that actually, I think he retired or stepped down, but there's a photo studio across the street from your shop, close to Nirvana, and Chuck Rubin, I believe, and you know, and his place has been around for years. You have Bambi Bar, which is another bar that's been established around the Highlands. So the Highlands just has these landmarks, these establishments that, you know, you always know they're going to be there, and they ain't going anywhere. And that's what I hope for your barbershop, and I think that's the direction that your shop is definitely going.
We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and that's what I love to hear. So. So talking about the Highlands area, pretty much talking about food, what you right now have been working out, you've been keeping in shape for the past couple of years and stuff, really been on this fitness trek. What are some of the food items that you like to eat if you have to eat out? I know you like you cook at home. I know you eat the good right stuff, but what's some places that you could suggest for people that are staying healthy to go eat?
The Highlands, I mean, whenever I just got like 15 minutes to just go run, grab something, it's usually Qdoba or Chipotle, just because I can get a really clean bowl, you know.
You are a really big Chipotle Highlands person. Yeah.
Well, I kind of like Qdoba a little bit more. I go back and forth every once in a while. You know, one thing gets old, and then the next thing tastes better.
For sure.
You know, if you stay away from the like the wraps and the cheese and the queso, you know, if you try to stay away from that stuff, you can eat really clean there. You know, you just get extra protein, vegetables, guacamole, a little bit of rice, and you know, you're pretty much it. You know? And I just eat kind of like that. My favorite restaurant is Ramsey's Cafe of the World.
Okay.
They have the biggest menu I think I've ever seen.
I actually shout out to Ramsey. I just showed the owner a home. One of my rentals, I showed him. And he stopped in and checked out a rental. We almost got him in there. Somebody got it before him, but great guy. He's actually putting a restaurant out in the Norton Commons area, which is way out in East End. Yeah, he's something that's going to have a similar concept. So maybe I'm actually doing the world premiere here on my podcast. Hey, I like doing world premiere shit. So that's probably what just happened. But that's what he was telling me. He's starting a restaurant out there. A lot of people in the restaurant business, I've realized in Louisville, they'll start their concept in either like one or two like main places, and then they'll keep spreading it. A place that you and I fucking love, and I'm gonna talk for you on this, and I'm not gonna have you correct me because I know it's facts. We love Game. And I meant that. So Game is a place. It is actually located in the Highlands area. It's actually close to Lexington Road. Basically, you get off there on Grinstead, exit, merge into the main road, and then you take a right, and you'll hit it right there. And it's actually got a giant moose as the sign with like a red light that says Game. Game is a place that has different burgers and varieties here in Louisville. They got kangaroo burgers, they got elk, they got ostrich, they got Wagyu, they got all kinds of things. And then they have really unique appetizers. Bone marrow, which is something you really can't get at any restaurant, and everything's fresh. Craft beer, if you're wanting to go the alcohol route. Also, too, just really good service, and it's just a laid-back atmosphere. It's like almost like a little shack. Let me ask you something. So, if you were walking into the game right now, and what design your burger for me? What's your go-to game burger? Because I could tell you mine. I want to hear yours first.
Shit, I really don't think I have a go-to.
Yeah.
I think so far my favorite is probably elk. Elk's
Yes.
just super high in protein and lean.
Do you find elk chewy or not? Do you find it more of a thicker meat?
Yeah, I guess it's a little thicker. I don't think it's chewy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I found boar to be very chewy. Yeah, boar was very chewy.
Yeah, I mean, I like lamb a lot. I eat a lot of like Mediterranean food, so like lamb's really good. That's the same way as lean and it's high in protein.
Yeah.
I like
bison's fantastic.
Yeah,
burger.
bison
I love
burger.
bison.
Yeah.
I want to do more with bison meat actually this summer. I want to try to start cooking.
The kangaroo. Which I only had the meatballs because I'll get meatballs every time because then you can just try. I get like a wagyu.
Great idea.
Kangaroo. Yeah. You can try different ones and then whatever burger you feel like eating. But the kangaroo is a little, I guess, chewy, but it's so flavorful and it's so different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's different.
I've never tasted anything like it, but it's really good. You know?
I'll tell you my go-to burger there. So I start with we'll start with the bread. I go with the pretzel bun. You cannot go wrong with the pretzel bun. And I'm going to give Game number one pretzel bun, but I want to tell you who's runner up. And he's from the Leo. Yeah, I used to be a Leo Weekly for about 5.5 years. I've pretty much ate it everywhere in the city, and I'm just a venture outer. I know Louisville like the back of my hand, and I love Garden Gate in actually off Bardstown Road and Breckenridge. It's similar to Paul's Fruit Market. It's like a local fruit market, fruit stand. They got plants, everything, but they got a fresh deli. It's sponsored by Boar's Head, and they make fire-ass pretzel bread. So Garden Gate, sponsor your boy, and shout out to your pretzel bread. But Game does have number one pretzel bread, and what I like to do with the pretzel bread is I like to put a kangaroo burger patty on it.
Yeah.
I like to take they have usually a very spicy cheese or like a pepper jack cheese. I put that cheese on top. They'll cook it perfectly. And then I like them to put a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of red onion, and then I like to hit it with that strawberry jam and some like little flat pickles.
I knew you was going there.
Oh yeah, the jams are where it's
people
at.
Sleep on them.
Yeah, they sleep on the jam. They're like, oh, that's for biscuits.
Yeah.
No, it's for fucking burgers in this bitch.
No, I swear, you put that jam on there.
Yes,
that brings everything out. Like, but you bacon or no bacon?
Ooh, so
I go bacon on everything.
I go no bacon when it comes to kangaroo because it's such a unique meat. Now, I will say this. I will go bacon when it comes to bison. I'm going actually, like, I'm trying to get, like, go more smoky route with, like the sauce and the jam. But just the way that kangaroo burger hits, it just, damn those jams. Like, the jalapeno cranberry jam they have is the best fucking jam to put on your burger.
Yeah, that's the jam.
Yes, that is
the jalapeno cranberry.
So spicy but so sweet.
And then, but since I get elk, like I feel you on the kangaroo though. Since it's so different, you might not want to mix it in with bacon, because it might take away from it.
Yes.
But like I'll get elk with the bacon, with that jam and probably pepper jack cheese also.
Ooh.
Onion, tomato, pickles.
And you gotta have the toppings because they're fresh there. Like, if you're not a topping person, I get it. Everyone's picky. I'm not judging you. Don't come after me.
No, I need veggies, motherfuckers.
Put some fucking toppings if you're going to Game because that burger needs it because it just delivers so much flavor. Another thing that I want to talk about that now that we talked about jams. I'm a big sauce guy. I think you are. I think we all like sauce. I mean, sauce is very important for our life. I actually have always wanted to talk about this on a podcast. Like Gucci Mane said, if you don't have the sauce, you're lost. And you can get lost in the sauce. Yeah. And so basically, and I've been lost in the sauce, but I feel like I got the sauce. Yeah. But I love sauce when I put it on my food. That's a lot of sauce. But here's the deal. One sauce that I think people don't realize is out there, and it's similar to a jam, and I'm about to blow people's minds. Do people out here, listeners, and let me know when you listen to this podcast, do you know about the Bronco Berry sauce at Arby's?
You know what? I just recently saw this shit, and it's really good.
It is absolutely incredible. It is a secret sauce that Arby's does not promote. Yeah. They only give it to you with the jalapeno poppers, and you have to ask for it. And I'll be honest, every Arby's I've been to, I'll go, hey, can I get some of that Bronco Berry? And I just got a roast beef and a curly fry, and they look at me like, how's he know about the sauce? It's a secret one. Bronco Berry. What a hard-ass name for a sauce. It's a berry sauce with a kick.
See, I was picking up some food for my girl and my stepson, and then shout out to Frankie's girl. Yeah, shout out Jenny. Shout out Lil Will.
No. Actually, I saw this on social media today. Before we get into the sauce, what did Lil Will do today?
First football game.
Yeah, first football game. Shout out to Lil Will. We were talking about sauce. Actually, reminds me of receiver Randy Moss. So Lil Will, Randy Moss, future right here. That's awesome.
Hey, you look good out there today.
Great.
I was happy for him. It's
Good.
his first time. He's only 4. So it's his first time in the league. I'll probably end up coaching him in basketball whenever, like next year
when he's ready to be on the Lake Show.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm kind of, I got to coach 5th and 6th graders this year, so that was fun. And we won the championship.
That's awesome.
Going down to these 5-year-olds.
Yes.
It's gonna be tedious, but that was the whole plan. I was always gonna do it so I could coach him and follow him.
That season probably helped you this year coaching to really coach anybody. I mean, you're ready to coach.
Yeah, I mean, the game at their age is more simplistic. It's easy to, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know the game in and out, so
you're trying to teach the basics.
Yes. Well, they know the basics at 5th and 6th graders. You know, teaching them structure and putting them in a position. True. You know what I mean, to make the whole thing work, you know what I mean? Giving everybody roles and stuff. That was what my job was. Yeah. And it's optimist, so you're just trying to make sure everyone has equal minutes. Yeah. Putting lineups together that you're not, you're keeping some playmakers out there at all times. Yeah. Making, going in a rotation where everyone's playing the right way.
I played basketball most of my whole life. I started in the Optimist Leagues and AAUs, and then I was lucky to play for my middle school, Myers Middle. I played for Seneca High School, and I played for J-Town High School. And I had a good basketball career. It was fun. And I met a lot of great people. And the thing about basketball is, growing up, you play so many people. You play them in the backyard, the park, the gym. You start hearing about these people locally that become big names. You're like, hey, I played that guy in 8th grade, or I met him and played in the Highlands. I will say this when you bring up the Optimist thing. Optimist is, I think it's important. And the reason I say this is there's a lot of people that can't make their teams. There's a lot of people that haven't been blessed to do that. And I think it gives them a way to be in a league, to be on a team, and I think that's great. And to improve, and also to stay active and stay fit. Because I think it's important as a kid, no matter if you're playing competitively or you're playing in the Optimist. Also, too, Optimist All-Stars can be a full blast. My 8th grade year, I played on my middle school team. I played AAU, but I got lucky to play J-Town Optimist 1 year. My only year I played, made the All-Star team, and I'm on the All-Star team. We go to Fern Creek, big tournament. It's competitive as shit. We're playing in other leagues, Fern Creek Optimists, all these different Optimists. So there is a lot of people like to hate or give flack, like, oh, it's just Optimists. No, there is a competitive standpoint, and you can really go far with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're right in a sense, but there's two sides of every coin.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you said, there's plenty of kids that might not have made their team, but they're right on the cusp.
Yes, right there.
And then they can improve through just playing and being in a league. And then there's, some kids, they're just trying to have fun. Yeah. And that's part of my motivation to do it is just, especially after the last year, I know these kids have been cooped up in the house for a year doing nothing. So I know just to see them get out there and get to play and have fun and stuff, there's a mixed bag with Optimists. You have some really good players, you got some not so good, but everyone's out there having fun.
Everyone's out there having fun, and what makes me mad is you have the people that ruin it and give it a bad rep is those parents that are taking it too serious, taking bad. And here's the thing: I've heard some parents, and I like I said, playing, and there might be a guy, I'm making up a name, Rusty on the team, and he sucks ass. But you know what? Rusty comes every day, every week. He comes, he's smiling, he never misses practice, he's always at a game. He's just, everybody on the team likes him. He's just a good dude, but he can't fucking even hit a layup. But you know what? fuck that parent who's like, get Rusty out, we're losing the game. You know what? Rusty deserves to play too. He paid his dues. Yeah. He's practicing, and I think that does help it. But also too, I think also for like somebody like Rusty in that position, Optimus should also motivate you, like you said, to get better, to be on the next team, to get to making a team.
And I couldn't have been any more thankful for the parents that I got, the kids that I was coaching,
because it can be a nightmare.
They were so cool, and I mean that was the one thing I was worried about. Like I didn't never worry about the kids really, or being able to teach the game and stuff. Like I was worried about how the parents were going to be, because you just hear nightmare stories, but not one of them. Like they all were super supportive. They like stayed in contact with me. They asked me questions. Everything was it went smooth the whole time.
And I think you're
12-1.
That's awesome. Yeah. So that's unbelievable. First time coaching 12-1. I mean, Frankie's almost the Steve Kerr of Optimus.
Hey, in the sense that I have a bunch of good players.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was lucky, and I had really, really good players. But see, I'm not trying to put it all but that's really it. I mean, you have to. If you don't have the horses, it doesn't matter how good at coaching the game I could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I had 10 kids that were just god awful, it doesn't matter what I teach them. They're not going to win.
Yeah, because you're going to have a star. You just you have to have a star.
No matter what level you're at.
Yeah.
So like sometimes
somebody's got.
I think, especially we're in Louisville, Kentucky, right? So I think the topic, like the conversation of coaching, is because it's based on college. You know what I mean? In college, the reason that coaching is so prevalent is because they're the ones getting paid. Whenever you see, like, when the Lakers are playing, it's LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes.
When a college is playing, it's John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yes.
It's Coach Krzyzewski and the Duke Blue Devils, because they can't promote the kids because they're not getting paid.
And they're also building their own team. I mean, they're the ones recruiting these players.
Right.
No fan got to pick who's going to make it. Like it ends up who's going to come, who signed the letter.
It's all about the kids you got. Yeah. It's all about who's playing on the court.
But let's ask the major question that I think everyone wants to know. Did you get a technical this year?
I did not.
I did not. Okay.
My assistant.
Billy,
shout out Billy Blakely.
Shout out Billy Blakely.
Shout out my guy. Dude, like, me and him was, like, perfect. Like, for real, our dynamic was perfect. Like, yin and yang. Like, whatever I didn't have, he filled in. Whatever he didn't have, I filled in. We just, like, played off each other with our game plans, like, our practices and everything. He would throw something out there, I'd add to it. You know what I mean? I would throw something out there, he'd add to it. Like, everything. And I think the kids had fun during practice as well as learned, But he got a warning.
Wow.
And it was weak. Like, it was weak,
Really?
Because I guess I was never even told this, but like assistants aren't supposed to say nothing to the refs.
Yeah.
Assistants are supposed to just be on but so when Billy was like kind of chipping at the ref look, he's like, I'm only talking to him, point at me. He's like, I'm only talking to him. I'm the one standing up, walking up the sidelines. And Billy kind of kept going, but and then he gave him but look, we were playing.
It's adrenaline rush. It doesn't
team,
matter what it is.
And this team was evenly matched with us.
Yeah.
They was getting all the help.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they had this. All right, so 5th and 6th graders, right? They had a kid that was. I'm 5'11", 6 foot. This kid was taller than me.
Wow.
Probably 260.
Okay.
Big boy. He was towering over everybody, right?
Yeah.
But he's under the basket pushing off on people and everything. Like,
over the bag,
everything. I was like, this kid don't need no help, Like, so Billy's like getting on the ref. I'm only talking to him. And Billy just kept going. He's like, all right, warning, stop the game. Warning for the bench right here. And Billy, but he wasn't doing much.
Yeah.
It was real. And I was more so just concerned with my team because so I had some kids that would get hot at the refs, understandably, but I would always get to them first. I'm like, don't
talk to them.
They get frustrated.
Yeah.
They're kids. They're emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they get frustrated, and then they're upset with themselves, and upset they're not getting calls. And I'm just, hey, you can't let that change your mindset. The game is 50% mental,
yes,
at least.
You
exactly.
Know what I mean? Because
that's
such an important thing you're saying. Because before you go on the mental part, I'm glad you bring that up because these fouls that they're getting. When you get to the high school level, you get teed up real quick. And I'm talking, it ain't no joke. And so you have to keep that composure. I'm very quick to get hot-headed. I've been hacked my ass off and never got to go to the line.
But sometimes you don't get the calls.
Yeah, you don't get the call.
But you have to maintain your
because you're playing professional. You're playing a professional sport in your mind. It's not professional, but you're playing competitive.
You get out of your head.
You're playing in a mode where you can't jeopardize.
You can't let that play affect the next play.
Yeah.
You have to just go out there and play the game. If you let that affect you emotionally and you get down on yourself, or you even think about it more than for that play, you're already hurting yourself. You can't get in your own way in the game. You know
and that's what helps. That's how sports helps you in the real world and life. And that's why sports are so important. And when people say they're not, fuck you. It's very important because right there, your boss gets on your ass. You can't fucking sit there and be like, hey, fuck you, boss. You're going to tee me up today. There's not tees in the real world. You can get teed up in basketball, but the thing about it is basketball's important. I think it's great what you're doing with the kids. I think it's important for all these kids to be active, no matter if you're good at competitive or you're not. And I think it's also it's something everybody can remember, and you meet a lot of good people. It's all about connections, And so I want to tell a funny story. Shout out to Corey Williams, a guy that I've known since 6th grade. We played basketball with. We played competitive. He played with me at J-Town. He played for Manual for a little bit, but he's one of the Optimist guys. A lot of guys locally I know played Optimist, and he was at J-Town Optimist. Well, talking about getting teed up, Corey used to wear goggles because he had glasses, and Mr. Goggles would get hot. Corey got thrown out of the game at Optimist as a boy under 10. So I'm saying. Optimus, it's crazy sometimes how quick switch, and hopefully Corey can maybe validate that story. But I just remember him telling me, man, I got thrown out. I was wearing those goggles, and I crack up at that story.
Blair.
Yeah.
Shout out Blair. That's like my little brother.
Yeah.
He was wild back in Optimus days.
Yeah.
This man
hacking people.
No, it's wilding out. Blair ran that league.
Yeah.
His grade, Blair was like the best kid out there. Everybody knew it. Everybody thought Blair could have done whatever he wanted to in basketball. Yeah. He played soccer too. Was really good at soccer. But yeah, Blair, he was a wild boy back then. Yeah. He was like Optimus. Yeah, I'm not gonna put him on blast right now.
No, I feel it. Shout out to Blair. So basically, I remember this. This was a really crazy day. I remember playing basketball for Myers, and we actually played in a game on a Thursday night. Played like TT night, finished the game. I had an AAU championship game on that Sunday, and one of my rivals, and shout out to him, Barry Moore. He went to TT night. He played high school ball at Central and J-Town, but Barry and I used to go at it, and I'm not gonna lie, I dropped 21 my 8th grade year. I was pretty proud. And so me and Barry would go at it. Barry was center, I was center. We were both really tall. We were both the 6 foot level.
What he had?
And he probably had 17.
Oh,
he didn't go over me. He did not go over me. I went hard that game. And so next thing, I even hit this mid-range Jordan shot at the free throw line. I'll never forget it. But we lost that game. Sadly, TT Knight did beat us to knock Myers out of the playoffs. But yes, I went hard.
This is telling you you're getting excited.
Oh, I'm very excited. I'm talking about those old hooping days. So, but no, Barry, shout out to Barry. So I'm still friends with him on Facebook to this day. But Barry, the thing about Barry was, it was funny. I ended up seeing him 3 days later at AAU tournament. I'm playing in another championship game with a bunch of kids that played over at JCTMS. Eddie Dimpley, Drew Evans, they had their own little AAU team. So we're playing Barry's team in the championship. I go up to block one of Barry's shot. I flip. I land on my temple. I go blind for an hour. I swear to God. I'm like, I can't see. I'm seeing blurry. My parents are like, are you concussed? And I was like, I can't miss the Optimist Championship game. And this is like when all the games are going down and the playoffs are going like on in all these different leagues. And I remember just showing up, and I swear to you, I like got vision like when I walked in J-Town Gymnasium, and I was like, because they had to carry me out of the AU championship game in like third quarter because I could barely see, and they were like, "You're concussed. Put ice pack on it." I probably should have went to a doctor. Thank God I got my vision back. I had to go in the optics league. It was like my flu game moment. I like shook it off and I was like, I can see again. Went out there, balled out, put my purple jersey on. I think I was hooping for the Raptors, ended up dropping to like 24, and I was like, man, I can see again. So it's great. That was like one of the craziest, and that's one of my craziest like Optimus stories because I'm trying to think back to Optimus, and that's one story I just remember. That was a crazy 3-day span, but a lot of basketball action. So would you say that was there an All Stars for this time around with COVID or no? Was there no All Star after the?
No, it just ended. I had a lot of kids that had baseball take priority
as
soon as the league was over. But J-Town, they do, they have a spring league going on right now.
Yeah.
And they have a fall league and a winter league, so they have leagues going on all year.
Do you feel like you would
for other seasons?
Yeah. Do you feel like you would want to ever take over the league and try to keep getting it to a next level if you're here locally?
Nah, it's actually Shane Maines. That's basically like my brother-in-law now. Like that's my girlfriend's brother-in-law.
Oh wow.
He's the one that runs the league. That's how I got in it.
Shout out to Shane. He played on one of my Optimus teams.
Yeah. He's a really good guy, and he is busy like crazy doing that league. I mean,
really?
He is like so like he's got guys to help him and stuff. Obviously, I don't know.
He gets calls and scheduling.
He is everything. Yeah, we just all went to Vegas. Me and my girl and her family. So Shane and his wife were out there with us, and I mean we went to the Grand Canyon one day. He's getting calls on the way. I'm sure he got calls all weekend.
Wow.
People just.
Now, does he get income from that? For the league?
I'm
not trying to put his business out. I'm just curious.
I don't really talk. I never asked him about that. You know what I mean?
So it's almost like he's doing this for just passion, like for the basketball and getting home with kids and stuff.
I'm sure, he makes something.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
put that effort into.
Yeah, but as much as he, it ain't what he deserves.
Yes,
I'm sure, I would imagine.
Because that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I mean, he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? He's got a hell of a job. He does good things all around. You know what I mean? So, I'm just saying. I'm sure as much time as he puts into it, I mean, he deserves $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And let me ask you a question now that you brought that up. I'm glad you brought up running a league and stuff like that. So, commissioners in professional sports, they get a lot of shit, and they're almost like the president of like a country. You're going to go hard at the commissioner when something goes wrong in a league or something that you don't agree with or whatever as a fan. If you could be a commissioner for one league, which one you doing?
If I could be one.
Yeah, you're getting paid salary. That's your career. You're not cutting hair no more.
The money wouldn't really matter. If I could, all right, so I would just look at it like this. I'm very pro Adam Silver.
Okay.
I'm very anti Roger Goodell.
I'm the same exactly.
So, like,
I love Adam Silver. I think Adam Silver's great for the world.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like. There's very few instances that I agree with Roger Goodell. And when I do agree with Roger Goodell, it's because he's probably just playing like the good
good cop, bad cop bullshit.
I mean, he's PR. Like he's doing like a PR thing. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, yeah, he's finally like the kneeling thing. Like he finally came around. You know what I mean? After George Floyd, he finally came around. Like, you know what? I do see the point.
He should have saw it the whole time.
Oh yeah. I mean, Cap should have a job.
Cap should. Yeah, there's just so many things.
So if I could be one,
yeah,
I would take his job.
Mm-hmm.
I would fire. Like I would get rid of half these 90-year-old owners. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
the league needs revival.
Yeah,
the league needs revival
from the inside out.
And when I'm glad you bring up the owners. I understand these owners own the team or might have tenure, but you know what? There needs to be change up in ownership. There also needs to be. I also don't like how they manipulate the schedule. I feel like sometimes players are put at risk, but also I love NFL. I watch it. I play fantasy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to ever give up in the NFL. I'm a huge football fan, but I'm disappointed too in Roger Goodell. I'm disappointed in a lot of things he's done, a lot of decisions the NFL does, but I do say this. You are completely right about Adam Silver, like I just mentioned here earlier. great for the world. He's really, I love what they're doing with the NBA in Africa and other places. I think that it's very important what he does, developing. He's putting places even in like Europe. They got these places where academies. That's another thing. Soccer now, I heard something on the radio just to mention. Soccer has academies now in all these big cities. Soccer's starting to become, you mentioned soccer with Blair, soccer's starting to become a big sport for the youth. And so I just love where sports is going. Yeah, but I will say this as a commissioner, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm taking Roger Goodell's spot. Yeah. I think that I could not only change up the schedule in a way to make it make more sense, but also get – I think there should be more teams. There's so much talent out there. We love NFL. We love fantasy. Put more players. There's so many stars, and it'd be awesome to have a new fucking division with 4 new teams. That's where I think we should go. Yeah, and I think that's one of my. Not only would I help with everything that needs to happen in this country from an NFL standpoint that's important. I would do that first, but. If they, from a football standpoint, my first change is definitely getting a new division because we need more. We need more players, people making more opportunities.
I feel you. I might just get rid of Thursday night football first and foremost. Like that'd be the easiest thing to change right away because that's. Have you ever? It's only about money.
It's never a good game. The players aren't rested. No. And I'll be honest with you, the only reason I get excited, I want to see what fantasy stats. But Thursday games, you can bite you in the fucking ass. Oh, yeah. They can be complete shit games.
And you might have 3 guys playing in it, and But you hear all these Hall of Famers. They were still sore practice on Thursday. You know what I mean? And think about there's sometimes you got a Monday night game and then you play Thursday.
People think when they put these jerseys on, and because there's it's armor. No, these are human bodies, and you got to think about it. You got guys that are actually the same size as people that are watching at home, and you're taking these hits. I play Madden all the fucking time. And Madden, you're doing these crazy hits, and you're doing these crazy catches, and a lot of the shit's realistic, and it's fun. And that's what I love, because you're like, oh shit, like I'm controlling Russell Wilson. But the thing about it is, something people just need to realize is these players have hearts, they care, they have things that they care about, they're passionate about. They're human beings. And I'm tired of these people, like, fuck Brett Favre, I'm sorry, and people might get mad at me for saying it, but I'm over, like, Brett Favre's like, oh, we should keep all this stuff out of sports, like politics, and I'm not talking about politics, I'm just talking about, people's rights are being fucked up here every day, and I want to say it. And not only from police brutality, there's racism, everything going on in this country. And you know what? No, it does need to be addressed because sports are important and people are watching. And when people are watching, these people, they're getting paid millions of dollars. And boo-hoo, you're not getting paid $5 million to play baseball. You're sitting at a factory. I'm sorry. You know what? Get better. You should have fucking swung better. I should have swung better. Maybe I'd be making $5 million. I don't sit here and cry about it. I sit here and enjoy the sports, be a fan. And you know what? When a player stands up, I think it's pretty brave, and I think it's important. And I don't care what your skin color is or who you are. I think these players have the right to speak just like any profession or any job. Sorry, I just wanted to get that tangent out. No, but I think that people got to get back to reality of, yes, I want to see the Bengals fucking thrash the Ravens 49-0. But you know what? I want every fucking Raven player to walk off the field all right. If a Raven player wants to protest for the game, I want him to be able to. I'm not going to be like, man, fuck him, he's wearing. But you know what? Yeah, I want the Bengals to whoop their fucking ass. But after the game, I want it all to be cool. That's where we have to realize with sports, and that's where it gets back to parents and optimists and Little League. It's a fucking game, and it's life. And realize, enjoy it for what it's worth, and enjoy it for what's going on. Yeah, it's competitive. Yeah, you can get mad. You can get pissed at the coach. Refs suck half the time, but they're all humans. But just realize it's about fun, the game, and it's just passion, and that's what life's about. Fucking enjoy the passion. But to piggyback, to finish off what you were saying really quick, the thing that I felt like you brought up that was very important, you were talking about how, like he should be compensated for running that league. Like
Right.
we're talking, or if he's not, something that I think people don't realize is a lot of these people, Adam Silver, baseball commissioner, which I'm going blank on right now, and Roger Goodell, all these players, these guys are getting paid only probably $500,000 a year to run these things, and they're managing salaries of teams that are over maybe $250 million sometimes. I will say there's a lot of pressure, and that comes with a lot of things, so I'll give them that. But I will say this. Working with the Players Association and the league, it seems like these guys, these commissioners sometimes have their hands tied, or like they're confused about certain things. But not just talking about football. I want to talk in something that you and I are both passionate about, very big. It's pro wrestling. And we're talking about commissioners, and, when I say commissioners in pro wrestling, you're immediately, I know, wrestling fans who are listening, Eric Bischoff from Raw? No, I'm not talking about Eric Bischoff from Raw. I'm talking about people that run leagues and companies and organizations. And one guy that I think is extremely out of touch with the product he's putting out and the product that he is saying is top wrestling is Vince McMahon. What you were the one who got me into this AEW Tony Khan Jacksonville Jaguars owner's son's new wrestling brand, which is taken off.
Shout out Eddie Rice.
Yeah, shout out to Eddie Rice, Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes. Why did you become such a big AEW fan, and what is Vince doing wrong with WWE? I want to hear from you on that.
That's like the most loaded question ever.
I know.
But all right, so
it is a big question.
I'm gonna talk, and it's gonna be hard for me to break it down for non-wrestling fans. But if you know wrestling and you're a wrestling fan, you'll probably understand what I'm trying to say. WWE just got corporate in the mid to late 2000s. They bought WCW in 2001. They lost their competition, which stopped their fire, I guess. But then once they became corporate, they became publicly traded.
Yes.
Everything. They have so many sponsors and so many different things they have to please. They can't really do the things that they used to do, which is what made it more real.
Yes.
So now they're over-scripted. They're very by the book, and so they're treated like actors almost when they're not.
Yeah.
Like nobody in wrestling is an actor.
No.
They're professional wrestlers. That's what they do first. The art of it is having your own character, creating this character that you put this work into, and then knowing how to portray it on TV to make people feel like you're watching something that's real.
Very factual.
But their character is mostly an extension of themselves. It's not a character that they're making up that they have to act.
Yes.
Stone Cold is Stone Cold.
Yeah.
The Rock has always been The Rock. He's a very entertaining, funny guy. You know what I mean? So whenever they were doing that stuff back in the day, they were just being themselves.
But taking it to an enhanced level.
Yeah. But now they can't do that. They're reading off cue cards, essentially. And it feels like that. AEW is a new company that's on TNT.
Based out of Jacksonville, Florida.
But I read all the dirt sheets and all the behind the scenes stuff all the time, know. So I knew about AEW a year before it happened, because you hear about it. They actually ran a show, not Tony Khan, but Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, and then they ran a show called All In, which is what they turned into All Out. They do now for AEW, but this was not under any kind of company. It was just an independent wrestling show, and they sold out in Chicago.
Yes.
So, anyways, that was what sparked the whole company coming about. I knew about all that around that time, so I just followed it closely because if you're a wrestling fan that grew tired of what WWE was doing and all the over-scripted shit and all the bad acting and
it's something fresh.
Yeah. You hear about something, you're like, this might be good because everything they were saying at that time was we're trying to fill this void. when you watch AEW, it does feel a lot more like the '90s. Like it feels like a show that's made for adults.
And what do you think?
Like WWE in layman's terms is essentially Disney on ice at this point.
True.
It's like a kid's show. It's like it's made.
So what's the difference between Tony Khan and Vince McMahon almost? I mean, is it just Tony Khan's given freedom pretty much? Is it freedom?
He's
the biggest word.
Freedom.
Yeah. Is it creative freedom?
He's giving them freedom. So Vince is like a dictator.
It's just too much control.
It's him. Everything is him. He's making all the decisions every day. He has a team of writers. A lot of times he rips up the script the day of, and then he rewrites it all himself. And people are, writing things to try to please him. They're not writing things that they think are good. So anyways, Tony Khan is a team work. It's a team effort. Him and the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho and all those guys, they are all, they have a group text that they, that they all talk to each other all the time. They're always throwing out these ideas. When you watch the show, it feels like that because it feels like they have long-term storytelling, which is what made wrestling good back in the day. If you have a whole year's worth of stuff that you want to get to and you want to go these places and get to this, WrestleMania at the end of the year, now WWE's like week to week.
Yeah.
They make shit up as they go. And then, like, we just saw this year, whenever they got past the Royal Rumble, they're just like, well, we got WrestleMania coming up. Let's figure out what we're going to do. But, like, AEW feels like they've only been around for a year and a half or so, and most of it's been during COVID, so that makes it hard. But it feels like everything's leading to something. It feels like everything is a build.
It always does.
They have a point they're trying to get to, and they know where they're going at all times. Yeah. And it's all for a reason. And sometimes you might question, like, what's this? But they're not going to give you everything all at once. You know what I mean? So, and then, like, a month later, you're like, I see. You know what I mean? But that's what I mean by it feels like it's made for adults. It's like they care about their storytelling, their continuity, and what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And that's the easiest way I could describe it.
I want to say something to you on that is that you actually introduced me to AEW. Something that Frankie and I do and share is we do wrestling nights. Shout out to Eric Eisenminger. We actually used to do we'd all three would used to get together. But me and Frankie here recently, we'll watch AEW pay-per-views, order some wings and wedges.
We treat it like it's a real sports.
Yeah, treat it like it's a real sports, like Super Bowl. It's our Super Bowl.
And that's how you get into wrestling. It's like a show. You're not. And
watching. You have to give it a shot.
If you like the Avengers and you like Marvel and DC and you like, you don't watch that and think, oh, this is fake.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're watching it like, damn, this is amazing.
This is entertaining as shit.
And for wrestling to be put on live and all the athleticism and all the things that are put into it, you have to pretend you're suspend your disbelief, and you got to get down and just watch it and have a good night and smoke some weed.
Smoke some weed, drink some drink, eat some chicken, and just relax and have a good group and enjoy the environment, have fun. I think something that that you mentioned that people don't understand about wrestling. Like you were talking about. You might explain this, and not the average person would know this if they didn't watch. Something that I would say that the average person annoys me about is, Eric, you like wrestling? How do you watch that shit even at 31 when it's scripted? Here's the deal. This is entertainment. The storyline is great. I love the wrestling. These are at doing athletic moves. And also, too, if you watched AEW, for example, a wrestler I'll shout out, MJF, right. Best heel in the whole entire wrestling business, in my opinion. He stays in character on promos. A story you shared with me on Chris Jericho's cruise. He's sitting there being a dick to fans, and he's literally staying in character the whole time. I mean, that's what it's about. That's why he's making the big bucks, and now he's feuding with Chris Jericho, and he's one of the main storyline. But I think that people just don't understand, when you're a fan of this, you want to see what they're going to do and what's up and coming. But then you do get tired of stuff. So I got tired of WWE. I can't watch WWE. I will say WWE has made the right decision on a few things, like what they did with the Women's Championship at WrestleMania and what they've done with a couple things. But I also think that they're so out of tune with things. Like, I understand bringing Tyson into AEW. I understand bringing Shaq, Snoop Dogg. Half the time it's because of a TNT promo. I'm all about celebrity interaction. And you know what? An artist that I really am a fan of, and I do like his music, is Bad Bunny. I think it's somebody that if I am listening to reggaeton or Spanish, like, I'll listen to him. But I see he's a wrestling fan. I know he made a song called Booker T, and I heard a lot of positive reviews about him. They put in the work. He learned how to wrestle for WrestleMania, all that. But WWE, get real. Use the fucking talent you got. Why are we promoting Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny is one of the top 5 biggest artists in the entire world. Streams out the ass, about to do this world tour. Dude's killing it. Well, but why do you need to bring that? I understand bringing the celebrity to WrestleMania. I get that they've done with Pete Rose, all the Philadelphia chicken. But it's just like, come on.
Well, here's my thing. I feel like
use the talent.
I feel like you can do that, but not if it's the second most promoted match on the whole WrestleMania card. You know
exactly.
What I mean? Like, I feel like you can have Bad Bunny and have him in that match where Damian Priest don't have nothing to do.
Because it is part of WrestleMania tradition to have a celebrity involved.
Yeah,
I'll give them credit there.
Yeah, and he did put in the work, and he actually did impress me. But if you made all the matches feel as important as you try to make that one feel because it's a celebrity, then you don't feel like everyone else is getting cheated. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they had, was it Jake Paul?
Yes.
I feel like they had him just to have his name on, WrestleMania. He didn't do anything.
People are using his name just because of the boxing promotion, what he's doing. It's very attention seeking.
But it just took away from Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Exactly, yeah.
But, they, like AEW, like when they brought Tyson in this past week, the best match on the card, though, was the Young Bucks against Pac and Phoenix. So it's like
they use them smartly.
Tyson's there.
Yes.
Tyson does his thing and everything, and it gets eyes on it.
And people are tuning in for Tyson a lot.
There's 3 or 4 things you might have liked more than the Tyson thing, but that's what gets casual fans turned.
And what's great is when it's live, you don't know when Tyson's coming on.
Right.
You don't know Tyson's main event or Tyson's going to pop in hour 15. You at least got people tuned in from that point.
But then they headline with Darby Allin, and he had the most views as far as like the viewership hour to hour.
And he's got that tie to Sting, which is like really helping his career. Something I want to say really quick. I know we're kind of dissing WWE, but one thing talking about Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's a very talented wrestler. He's from Syria, and one thing that he has ties to Syria, and something that Sammy's doing is SammyForSyria.com. Basically, all proceeds will go to helping bring a medical cart to Syria that will travel all around Syria, providing health in a war-torn country. If you have a heart or you care about wrestling, you want to get back, Pro Wrestling Tees starting tomorrow at 1 p.m. We'll be doing a special Sami Zayn shirt. All proceeds, 100% proceeds, are going to be going to SammyForSyria.com. So definitely check that out. I have no ties to this, no association. I stay on top of things. I see things that are interesting for the show, and I care about people. And you know what? Hopefully my podcast one day makes it to Syria, and I think people need to buy this shirt if they want to get back, if they're a wrestling fan or just like tees. So
that's Sammy, S-A-M-I.
S-A-M-I. So SAMIFORSYRIA.com, and that's ProWrestlingTees.com. Best wrestling t-shirt site in the world, based out of Chicago, Illinois. Sean P., who was my first guest on episode 1, he actually has a shirt on there. He is referee Man Bun, so that's pretty cool.
Man bun you've had?
Yeah.
Josh.
Frankie has a Man Bun.
No,
Shout out to Frankie.
Josh.
Yeah, and Josh, and then my buddy AJ has a Man Bun. There's a lot of people that have Man Buns. I know Man Buns are taking over the world, but I have a buzz. But Frankie got me right.
I was about to say his hair is
my hairline's perfect. Very fresh. So
hey, we can finish this wrestling conversation, but I'm gonna blow your mind after we're done.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so something else that I want to talk to you about wrestling. Since you and I watch wrestling, you know who I like. I know you like. Dude, it was pretty special. Like, I'm not a big fan of him as a person, like from a politics standpoint, but as a wrestler, he's been my favorite. The Big Red Machine, Kane. You know what?
Mayor Kane?
Mayor Kane, yeah, he is in the Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame. So shout out to Kane.
But he's a mayor. That's the most
he's a mayor.
amazing
Yeah,
thing. If you don't know, Kane is a mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
Yes.
And it is still mind blowing to me that man got elected.
And I love it. And I love it because shout out to Amber Rogers and Justin Rogers. They're my friends in Knoxville, Tennessee. I knew in college. I went down to Knoxville Zoo actually recently and visited with them. They're doing really well. They're actually going to move up to Ohio. But I used to tease them about Kane being their mayor, like, oh, he's going to tombstone the sewage problem, or he's going to choke slam the water problem to hell. But you know, Kane is a hell of a wrestler, very talented. Like I said, great guy. He's probably a great guy. I'm not saying anything because he goes a certain politic thing, but I'm saying there's some things he's said I don't agree with. But I really like Kane, his wrestling ability, his talent. He's really done tremendous work in the WWE. I mean, he's put his body on the line. I mean, he's fought in inferno matches with fire on the ropes. So Kane is my favorite wrestler, so I thought it was cool to see him in the Hall of Fame. Didn't know if that would happen because the way WWE does their Hall of Fame can be very weird. Hall of Fame is something I'm so glad that I'm talking about. Is I love with the Hall of Fame is that, you know, I think Hall of Fames in general are great because people get to get their careers recognized, their hard work. I think any kind of legacy is cool, and I've talked about that on other episodes. Just having a legacy is dope. But outside of WWE Hall of Fame, there's been a lot of talk here recently, and I know we talk about football. Julian Edelman. The reason I bring that up, the big topic on sports radio for the past 3 days, because it's always what's the most relatable sports topic, like what's the most recent sport topic, and it's Julian Edelman retiring after failing his physical. The big debate is he a Hall of Fame player? He's one of the best football wide receivers in playoff NFL history, but his regular season stats suck. And he's never made a Pro Bowl, never been All-Pro. Is he a Hall of Famer in your book? I don't think he is. I think he's just a good player.
You know, I don't know if I know enough about, you know, the standards or, you know what I'm saying, who's been in and who's, you know, but like, as far as, I mean, he balled out.
He's
balled out every playoff that I've ever, you know, he just does what he's supposed to do. But, you know, if you take away what he's done in those important games, and you kind of take away from other guys, because the Patriots are just a well-oiled machine that has very good players all around them, and you know what I mean. So,
but I have another question though. Just before you get into that, he did PEDs. Does that bother you?
It doesn't bother me because I think everybody does.
Okay.
Personally, I think everybody in all the sports.
Wow. Okay.
Are on something because I think they all have the edge. I think they're all multi-millionaires. They have the best doctors in the world that have all the loopholes, and they're always one step ahead with what's not been being able to be tested for yet and all that stuff. I personally do. I think Michael Jordan was on shit. I think everybody that was at the top level.
Oh man, me and you. This is why I wanted to have you on this episode because. That we flow.
But it doesn't bother me, though.
I love how you're bringing up topics that I can just dive into right off the bat. So the thing I'll say about this with PEDs, the reason I ask you that is you got Julian Edelman, you got all these NFL players, these sports writers who vote or who help get these NFL players in the Hall of Fame are saying, oh, Julian Edelman should be in, whatever. They're forgetting about the PED, but here's the thing. They don't want any of these baseball players. A-Rod, Roger Clemens, who had best careers over anybody because they did PEDs. I think that's bullshit. I think it's hypocritical that we can allow Julian Edelman just because he played NFL to be in the Hall of Fame, but baseball, which is actually the hardest sport to do, to hit a baseball, Ted Williams even said that, you have A-Rod, Roger, all these guys out because they did some kind of PD for them. Yes, those were exciting years. I'm against cheating. I think juicing's bullshit. I fuck Jose Canseco. I think he's kind of taken pride off the juicing. But I will say this. I do not like the hypocrisy. Like, let's just have a standard Hall of Fame rule or, figure out that standpoint.
I think, yeah, right. So if there are certain people that have much better stats than Edelman, they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
That's why Calvin Johnson.
I guess I would be I would be more lenient. Yes. You know what I mean? Just because I think if you've had a historic career, instead of stacking stats up next to each other, if you've had a historic career, you should be a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Like, I think Pete Rose should be a Hall of Famer.
I think Pete Rose should.
I just I think
Pete Rose is like Pete Rose is.
Really care that,
oh my gosh,
and,
I'm
and
so
I don't really care.
Rose.
And I don't really care that people take steroids in baseball either. I just think.
I think some of these players are doing it not to cheat, but for
everybody's
health
doing
advantage.
It. All right, like Malik Monk.
Yeah.
Got caught taking PEDs last year.
Yeah.
And was suspended for a little bit. But do you think he's just doing that? He's the only one on the Sean.
No, there's no way.
I'm saying
the
guys that are lower in the league, they're hearing about Russell Westbrook. Hey, he's on all this shit.
Yeah.
LeBron's on all this shit. What are you going to do then?
Exactly.
Now, if you're content with just making the money and riding the bench and whatever, then you'll just do what you want to do if you're against doing PEDs. But, like, I think everybody sees the top guys getting the edge. They're going to get an edge. Everybody's going to go, to these. I just think these doctors have way more shit than we even know.
Well, eventually, it's like, what is a PED? It's like it gets to a point, and also the sports writers don't even know what a PED is because they don't have a health background. The Pete Rose thing, though, before we forget, Pete Rose, the gambling thing, he's almost like a prisoner that's in prison right now for marijuana.
Yeah.
Marijuana is going legal everywhere. It's being viewed. Now gambling is tied into all sports, and you have Pete Rose punished, best baseball hitter of all time.
If he
should be in.
Betting against himself and then throwing games, then I'd be like, fuck.
He wasn't, but he
was
should
betting
be in the
for
Hall of
himself,
yes,
and then still winning. Like,
he's a Rays legend. He's a Phillies legend. I mean, he's done some fucked up shit, but he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame as a baseball player. Huh?
You think Michael Jordan wasn't doing that?
Here's the thing about Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan was definitely betting on himself.
Michael Jordan was definitely gambling. Here's something about Michael Jordan that people don't realize. And there's two things about the NBA. And I did this on an episode here recently. I dropped a couple facts. I think it was the episode I did with Eddie Rice. Jordan smoked a cigar before every game to the game. I'm going to be honest with you. When I smoke a cigar, I get super slobbery. And I'm literally like, God damn, I'm getting tired. This guy would do that, go to the game, ball out every night. I read a Jordan book when I was a kid. The dude blew me away. I mean, Michael Jordan's the greatest, best player of all time. But here's the thing, though. I mean, okay, I know there's a debate there, but here's the thing. Michael Jordan, though, the one thing I will say about this with MJ is the gambling thing. The NBA seemed like David Stern liked to protect a lot, and I swear to you guys, something I think out of respect for Michael and what he did for the NBA, and I'm saying this on camera now, and people might give me flack, David Stern suspended Michael for gambling, I think, and that's why Michael went and played baseball. And then if you also realize this, Michael's dad, rest in peace, he did have a very mysterious murder. A lot of things just around that time seemed very bizarre to me. But I loved Michael, and I didn't want to think that at that time. And now, and as a kid, you don't really think about that. Now, when I hear the stories, I think in a way that Michael was suspended, and that's why he went to baseball. And he didn't give a shit that he played for the Barons, and he didn't really get to go to the White Sox as much because he was playing in the farm system. So then Jordan comes back, wins the 3 more, takes over, he's still the man, he goes with the Wizards. I think that was something, that's a conspiracy theory, but here's a second conspiracy theory about the NBA that I want to talk about, and then I'll get your thoughts about Jordan and everything. Patrick Ewing. When Patrick Ewing left the Georgetown Hoyas to go to the New York Knicks in the NBA draft, when David Stern was reaching in the lottery pick to pick a team, to pick the order of the draft, to get the Knicks, they're saying that he froze the card in a freezer for the New York Knicks, and he bent the corner, and when he was finger fucking all the cards with the teams, he grabbed the Knicks to get Patrick Ewing. Because here's the thing. Jordan's in Chicago with the Bulls. Johnson's with the Lakers in L.A., Magic Johnson. Isaiah Thomas is in Detroit. Where do we need a big player? New York. Who's the best player in New York Knicks history? Patrick Ewing. So, literally, Patrick Ewing's taking those battles where you have Reggie in Indy, too, Reggie Miller. So, you have all these battles in the Eastern Conference. I think David Stern, and I like the Knicks. I'm a Pacers fan, diehard, but I like the Knicks. I like the Raptors. I just love the NBA. I still think there was a conspiracy that he cheated the lottery and got Ewing the Knicks.
I don't put nothing past nobody.
No, not anymore.
When it comes to money.
Yes.
And if you're talking about like trying to help a big market,
New York City, the biggest market in the world.
You know what I mean? Like I don't put nothing past nobody. Like when people, a lot of people think that some of the game is rigged.
Yes.
Basketball, football, whatever. I've heard all the theories. Especially being a barber, you hear everything from everybody, but I personally choose to not believe that because if I believed that it was rigged, I probably couldn't watch it. You know what I mean?
Do you think boxing's rigged at all at any times? Have you?
I thought that the Pacquiao, what did he fight, Bradley?
Mm-hmm. There's a couple matches I felt
those. There were a couple that were very, very sketchy. And,
sketchy finishes.
And that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? That's a lot
People
of money.
People are betting.
And in boxing, it's easier to control because it's two individuals. Mm-hmm. And if you go to a card, that's kind of easier to control than in basketball or football. There's so many people involved. It's hard for me to believe that there's something being rigged. You know what I mean?
But a scandal, I'll say this in college basketball that a lot of people don't realize. If you do not realize this scandal, just Google it. The Mafia was tied in with the Boston College Eagles during a basketball season and fixed the season. It just proves you can fix a team sport.
Yeah, but they were
threatening lives. It's like kneecaps.
They said we're going to kill you if you don't throw these games, and they had no choice. So...
you think that girl you took to homecoming's cute? We'll cut off her head.
I feel,
I mean, like those mafia people are serious.
I don't put it past anything, right? Yeah. Is what I'm saying. But I choose not to believe that so that I can still enjoy what I'm watching. But
if I found out tomorrow, freezing the card, that's crazy. Putting that card in the freezer.
I don't doubt that.
So it's the only one code.
I don't doubt that.
That's very smart.
If I found out tomorrow that it's all rigged, it wouldn't shock me. You know what I mean? I would just be like, well. $1 billion industries and $1 billion corporations get paid.
And let me ask you this: another big question. I'm a big Pacers fan. I used to be a season ticket holder for the Indiana Pacers. I've been to a bunch of games. Reggie Miller is one of my favorites. Yeah, I mean they're actually doing well, but Sabonis has been really great. There's been some great games. I went to some playoff games up in Indy, but I hope they can win it one day. But Reggie said that if Jordan called him up and recruited him like players do today, he'd say, fuck no, get the hell out of here. Even though he was close with Jordan, he would just say it wouldn't feel right. I think that's bullshit because I think
You think he's lying?
I think he's lying from this standpoint. I think this. I respect Reggie. He's an Indy legend. If I'm him, I stay in Indy and just do out my career. I think that Reggie, though, at the end of his career with the last couple of years, Reggie could have got that call and said, you know what? That might be fun because Reggie, but also I see Reggie wanting to take down Jordan. I respect that. I get that. But I just feel like if Jordan calls you and you want that title, Reggie had done it all at that point. Go win it.
I believe him.
Okay.
I think he's telling the truth.
Okay.
Because here's the thing.
He wants to stay in the
It's
Indy
a
legacy.
different dynamic in the 90s.
Yes. More competitive.
There weren't two stars on the team.
Scotty and Jordan are probably your first duo.
But I don't even think Scotty was a star then.
More of a role player star. Yeah, you're right.
People knew how good he was, But I think we realize it even more now. But since he came out of nowhere, as far as like his college days, and then once he catapulted when he got
every star in the NBA in the '90s did have that player that was close to star status or could carry them, like John Stockton and Karl Malone. I think Stockton was a star, but I think he's more of that. Again, he's dishing the assist, the mailman.
The thing is, those guys don't really even know each other in the '90s because there wasn't this huge AAU system. You know what I mean? Like, kids play so much more now, and they play all over the country. So these kids grow up together, and they like know each other from jump. So
that Blake Griffin video on YouTube. If you YouTube Blake Griffin dunking for future NBA stars, it's all these college kids that are huge stars.
But like that goes back to like why LeBron and Melo and Wade are all so close. Yeah, you know, all these guys came up together, and then they got to the league, and they all. It's more of a business now too. So like the way they structure their contracts and everything, they're all like in this together. You know what I mean? So they look at it like a brotherhood more now than ever, and they all know each other more than the guys in the '90s. In the '90s, you might have just came up through your high school, went to college, and you don't know guys from other states and stuff. And you know, then when you go and you see that every team has this one superstar with a bunch of role guys. You don't feel like you're outmatched to where you got to go team up with people, and you probably do see yourself like Reggie probably sees himself as I'm better than Jordan. He wasn't, but like he probably sees that about himself, and he wants to beat him.
He thought he could beat him, and I think that Indy was competitive enough to beat him. They did beat the Bulls in some aspects, but Indy just could never seal the deal. I think Reggie also wanted to end that legacy with Indy, which I respect. And like you said, he could be completely right. I just feel like. Jordan calls me, I'm going to at least give a year.
If Jordan calls me?
I'm giving him a year just to see what happens. Yeah, because it's Jordan asking me. It's not the Bulls asking me.
Yeah, but, you know.
It's Jordan.
The 90s was really an anomaly if you think about it because there were big threes in the 80s. You know, there were like super teams in the 80s and
Lakers, Detroit.
But, you know. I think that's always been a thing, you know, it's just in the 90s, it just happened to be more spread out. And, you know, I personally think the 90s was a weak era of basketball. I do. I think Jordan was head above everybody. He was just so much better than everybody. And I think it was in a transition period.
You don't think it was more physical in some aspects?
I think it was more physical, but also it wasn't. Like, if you look, there's so many highlights you can watch where if you just take the Detroit Pistons out of it, take them aside because they're the only team that was really doing that.
They were super. That's why they had their legacy
like, I'm gonna knock you out of the air.
Being the bad boys.
Yeah. Everybody else was playing regular, and there was a lot of guys that could not play in the NBA today. The skill level,
very true.
The skill level is so much increased today. It's not even comparable. You know what I mean? The 3-point line is so much farther out. The court spacing is ridiculous.
It's almost physicality was more important back then than talent.
But you wouldn't even be able to beat
like physical. Charles Oakley and people like that were more physical than bringing huge scoring games.
You weren't that good.
Like that. Yeah.
Jokic will drag any center from the 90s.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean
because he does everything.
Like Luke Longley versus Jokic, and Luke Longley was on all those Bulls NBA winning teams. You know, that's just somebody comparison. Sean Bradley.
Anthony Davis is out there moving like a guard. He's 7 foot.
And he's shooting threes.
Kevin Durant is 7 foot tall.
DeMarcus Cousins pulling.
And he can do anything, create his own shot, do whatever he wants to on the basketball court. There's no person in the 90s that would be able to even match up with half the guys that are stars today. And the court spacing is different, so defense is different. Can you imagine? Like, I know Michael Jordan was an amazing defender. I know he took his matchup very personal.
True.
But can you imagine Steph Curry dragging Jordan 7 feet beyond the arc, and then dancing with him, and then having all this court spacing because you have 3 other 3-point shooters on the outside with you, and the game is not a packed inside.
And people think that Jordan just was pulling up for 3. He wasn't. They weren't doing threes in those games.
Shooter. He wasn't a mid-range guy who attacked the basket. And that's why a lot of guys knocked him out of the air because that's what he's doing. And he was, if you think about how athletic he was, it was because comparably to the rest of the NBA, he looked like he was jumping to the moon. He would be average in the NBA today as far as athleticism.
athleticism.
Zach LaVine's more
I don't
athletic.
know though. I don't know.
Zach LaVine's more athletic than Michael Jordan.
I will say though, Jordan put
As
those
far as
points up
hops.
every night, and I know you're saying competitive level, and I know there's bigger stars in the league now.
No, he would still be
dominant.
Kawhi Leonard today. He'd be a 2-guard that can
More
shoot
personality than Leonard.
Oh yeah,
though.
right.
Like,
but
way more
but
personality.
the style of play.
Yeah.
He would be. I'm not saying average skill wise.
Yeah.
Athletically, the way he was in the '90s, he was way above everybody. Today, he would fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Like Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine. These guys are more athletic than Jordan.
Would Jordan?
Derrick Rose coming into the league was more athletic than Jordan. Like the way he could jump, the way they were exploding to the rim was harder. I think Kobe Bryant played in a harder era, and I think Kobe Bryant was.
Kobe Bryant came at the end of the Jordan run. So did AI.
Jordan was so good compared to the rest of the NBA.
Mm.
He could go to the poker table until 5 a.m. and get 2 hours of sleep, maybe no sleep, and then go and dust everybody in the NBA.
Drop 48 again.
Kobe Bryant was a basketball player. He didn't do none of that extra shit. He was in the gym at 4 a.m. working. You know what I mean? So, and I think the league got so tough.
Yeah.
At the late '90s, early 2000s, athletically, skill wise, and then it just only evolved. Like
Kobe was a star. AI was a star. I think I will say this though, in my defense. I think Jordan, I definitely will give you this, that it was definitely a different and competitive, but Jordan was so dominant and literally, I will say, he made you a fan of basketball. I mean, he was the biggest thing on earth at that time.
Yeah,
he was dominant, and he was bigger than just a player, and that's why we love Kobe. That's why we love LeBron. Yes, there's so many stars we can name. We can literally sit here and probably go for hours just naming off star players that are Hall of Fame or just relevant people know. AI, Carl, we were just naming. But it's like, when you talk about Kobe, Kobe was somebody that just studied the game. That's something that you bring up a good point. Jordan could literally be drunk, smoking cigars, golfing, doing whatever. He comes in, dominates, whatever. I will give him credit. I still think he's the best player of all time. He's still my favorite, but I do see what you're saying. Kobe, though, the thing that I like about Kobe, and everybody's got their faults, but, about the way they might play the game, like you're saying with Jordan. He might go out the night before. Mm-hmm. Kobe might be too tough on his teammates, some people say. But here's the one thing Kobe did that people don't realize. There's something that he instilled with every player is, Kobe, every game, there's 82 games in an NBA season. Every away game, Kobe would find a gym, and he would make a deal, partnership with them, a high school, college, and he'd go to that gym before he checked into the hotel that next game. That is dedication and being want to be part of the game. And I think that's why we saw Kobe evolve to where he got at. Now, LeBron, I don't think LeBron goes that low, but LeBron's also the type of person, he's put in the work. He's developing these relationships. A lot of people like to put LeBron's game down. Oh, he's got to get other superstars to help him and stuff. LeBron is still the biggest player in the world right now. LeBron is dominating games. LeBron is the reason he's playing MVP basketball. He doesn't need these other stars. It's just helping him. It's a competitive league. Everybody's trying to get stars. So I just feel like Kobe, Jordan, LeBron, they are what's kept basketball relevant, and they are what the future is. Let me ask you this though: who is the face after LeBron says, "I'm putting the crown down"?
Shit, that's gonna be a great question. Because
and to finish off real quick, what I was gonna say about Kobe, real quick. Kobe, something that he instilled in all of his teammates, besides being hard on them, Julius Randle with the Knicks. He's got him and all the New York Knicks right now are doing the Kobe thing. When they go to a away game, they find a gym. They went to go play the Pistons. He fucking dropped like over 28. He's in the gym at like 3 in the morning with his Knicks teammates, shooting buckets, balling out of control, just so he can prepare for the Pistons game. And he got that Kobe mentality, that Mamba mentality. So, you got to respect these athletes and what they put into the work, like in any sport. But the NBA, is it's just fun. I mean, there's a dynamic, and I love all the movement. Now, something that I will say, movement wise, that I don't understand with some teams and organizations, why are teams just giving in to like building with the same players that are failing in the league? Like I understand you got to get role players and different players you need, but it's like, why are we trying these guys 7 times? Why are we not bringing in someone that I understand experience, but it's like,
give me an example.
Like for example, like you bring in a guy that played Alex Lynn. He's a 7-foot center, played for the Atlanta Hawks. He went up to, I believe, Brooklyn.
Right.
He's on the bench or whatever. It's like, yeah, he might get in the game, get a couple rebounds, but it's like, I understand the height, but it's like, what is he bringing?
You move down the list every time you move somewhere. You're not, what I'm saying, anymore. Like you're not more valuable than you were.
You're almost getting moved out of the league, demotion, but you're staying in the league.
Yeah. Like if I'm sure he's looked at like a good practice player. You know what I mean? Somebody that gives them size if they need it in a playoff series or something.
They're seeing potential.
But but I mean they're not probably going to invest in him as a starter or somebody important, so he can keep on staying in the league. And then some guys get to a point where they're just on the bench, and then they can either choose whether they want to go overseas or stay there. You know what I mean? But
that's one of my pet peeves, though.
But I think a lot of people are just like a backup. Like it's their backup plan.
Yeah, to figure out what they can do.
If a franchise is going for so and so, and they miss on 3 different guys, then okay, all right, I don't have. Now I need a point guard, so who's the best available? You find somebody out there, they might have failed at 2 franchises already, but you need a point guard at this point. Like, there's only so many guys that you can build a team around.
And I think franchise, another thing they do wrong is they move too quick off players as well. So not to be a hypocrite, but yeah, some players they stay with too long. And in some players, they move. The team that would have been so great and I think would have won an NBA title in the West, and I'm saying this now, is if they stayed with them, they stayed healthy. Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, New Orleans Pelicans. I went and watched them play up in Indy. They blew out Indy by 30. They're shooting threes out the ass, just blowing them out. Such a dominant team. And if they ended up getting Zion, it would have just been humongous, but it's what if, it's the same thing. What if David Stern never voided the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers?
Yeah. I don't think they had enough.
Yeah,
because at that time they were still when they had that team,
the Twin Tower team.
That was their best team, and they played the Warriors in the first round.
Yeah, they didn't get.
So what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like every era has its team. You know what I mean?
They feel like the Pelicans always get stuck on that HC.
So right now, it's like the Rockets. All right, the Rockets had James Harden. Then they always put somebody with you, whether it was Chris Paul, whether
True.
No matter, they always trying to put guys around him to make something work. So he was essentially always the 3rd best in the West.
True.
Well, he was behind the Warriors, and then he was behind. They're always behind some one team or 2 teams, and now it's like the Lakers and the Clippers in the West, and in the East it's like Philly and the Nets. So if you're not those 4 teams,
you're an underdog.
You're not, you know what I'm saying? So
and go back.
Eventually, you need the tide to swing your way, and you to be the team that's got all these guys. But it only comes every once in a blue moon.
Yeah,
so you only have one dominant team, one team that can win the title. If you're one of the other 29 teams, are you a failure, or do you just keep trying to improve? And,
True. And going back to back can be super tough. So to go back to that question of who's going to be the future face of the league, in my opinion, somebody that I'm going to give him to it, and it's because of this endorsement. LeBron James said he's a superstar, he's got the talent. I really think if Phoenix keeps evolving and becoming a dominant team, and if Phoenix keeps being a contender like they are, Devin Booker could become the face of the league. He puts up so many points. He plays so well. He has this mentality, and also, too, he's super young. Also, I know there's a lot of other players, but I feel like he can not only be a face, but then you look at Kevin Durant. He could be the face until he could start being, because We're watching old LeBron. We watched old Kobe. We watched old Jordan go into the Wizards. We're watching old Durant in the Brooklyn.
Well, Durant is how 32.
Yeah, he's in his early 30s because he came out of Texas as a freshman.
So,
college player of the year.
So you got to look at somebody younger because like when LeBron still got 3-4 years. You know what I mean?
True.
Like everybody assumes he's gonna
because he takes care of his body.
Everyone assumes he's gonna stay until his son comes in the league and he play a year with his son and retire. I believe that, but say he's got
that'd be special.
He's got 3 or 4 years.
Like King Griffey.
3 or 4 years is the end of Kevin Durant's career also. So like when LeBron retires, you're not gonna make a 35, 36-year-old Durant your face. I think they're gonna try to make it Luka. I think they're gonna make Luka Doncic a face.
Luka's international.
I wouldn't mind.
He's the world.
As a Laker fan, LeBron, like, because Luka is a stat sheet filler, like LeBron was.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind if when LeBron retired, Luka comes and joins the Lakers with Anthony Davis and the core that they already have. I kind of have a theory that Steph Curry's joining the Lakers next year.
But see, that's where it goes into like our thing about Reggie Miller, our debate there. Steph seems like a guy that would put longevity in Oakland.
Steph is from Cleveland. I think he was born in.
Maybe even do it for his dad, who's another NBA player that played.
I think he was born there, and then him and LeBron both have like this friendship behind.
Do you see Steph bringing his brother ever involved in this championship run?
I mean, I don't think that's his call, but I think Seth is doing good. But I'm just saying, if you're Steph Curry and you're LeBron and you see what the Nets are doing,
you kind of have to move the way the league moves.
I try to even that up. You know what I mean?
The way the league's moving.
If you're still LeBron and AD, I'm saying LeBron, AD, and Steph might be a better three than KD, Kyrie, and James. That's
very factual because it can get to a point where, it's like, it's where's the league heading? Yeah. What's the direction?
Yeah.
How are people playing? And also too, if you're getting older, you're putting your body on the line. You got all these endorsements. You're a millionaire. You've won all the awards. You have titles. You got rings. Why do you want to play on a shitty team while you're ending your career? You're going to want to play on a better team. And I think here's the thing. City and fans can't take that offended. You have to be thankful for the years you got. That's why Leonard is still loved in Toronto. That's why when Toronto gets these players that come back that won the title there, they're getting standing O's because it's like you brought a title to Toronto for the first time. Raptors is a very interesting organization. I'm glad that they were able to finally bring one to Toronto.
But back to the whole LeBron takes care of his body. That's why I think he's on shit just like everybody else. When they say he spends $1 million on his body a year, what's that?
Russell Wilson's doing the same thing. What does that entail?
But I'm not saying it's illegal shit. I'm saying it's shit that nobody even knows about yet. It's something his doctor's giving him, or these guys stay in tip-top condition year-round, all year, all through their mid to late 30s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, it's also investing.
But I think it's a level playing field because I think everybody's on it. So that's why I don't get mad about it.
I think it's also a case of I think it's a case where it's something that is also with LeBron is that he's going to want to get that all-time point record from Kareem.
Yeah.
He's gonna,
I think he's gonna retire number one on the list of points, rebounds, assists.
It's important. It's important too because it's securing that legacy. If you can do it and your body's in shape and you're an investment and you love the team and you're still getting along with your players and like you can still ball out like LeBron James does every night.
And he'll be 40 when his son comes into the league.
And see, that's a special thing.
Last year, his contract.
Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr., people remember that. They're going to remember this.
I believe his contract comes up the year his son comes into the league so he can just sign with a 1-year deal with whoever drafts his son and play with him. I think that would be
so
dope.
Smart. It's because that not only it just keeps enhancing your legacy, it keeps enhancing your NBA career.
I'm hyped for the Space Jam movie.
Now, I watched the Space Jam. I will say this. Jordan Space Jam is still my jam.
It's legendary.
It's
I
legendary.
love it,
but
this isn't a remake, though. This is its own story. So that's why I'm like,
well, at least LeBron, at least LeBron is given a chance. It's hard to find a lot of athletes that, athletes do want to be given, you have Shaq doing Kazam, you had Hulk Hogan doing horrible movies back in the day, these big stars, but it's like, at least LeBron's given it a shot. LeBron, he also does a lot for the community and does a lot for kids, so I think kids can relate and see him. He's also been associated with McDonald's that, kids associate with McDonald's, so LeBron is the face of the league, and I think that he's become a worldwide athlete, and I think it's important for the NBA, and I think the NBA has become a very important league because it just keeps people interested in shit.
Yeah.
Would you, another question I have for you real quick about the NBA, where do we go with the dunk contest in 10 years? I mean,
that's a good fucking question. Because after Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine,
yeah, Zach LaVine's a freak.
Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine's dunk contest, the best I've ever seen. I don't think it'll ever be topped. But I don't think you can go anywhere. Like, I don't know what else there is to do.
Is it more costumes? Is it more celebrity encounters?
I hope not. I hope they stop that shit because I just want to see great athleticism and impressive. I don't care if it's, if it's been done before, you know what I mean? Like, we're bound to see things repeated, but
100.
The gimmicks and stuff, I'm not really, I don't really fuck with that for real.
And I think that takes away from the dunk's attention. And I also, too, think, we've had some moments in dunk history and the NBA dunk contest that blow you out of the water, like Vince Carter putting his hand in the rim. But then you have, like, Chris Anderson, the Birdman, took him 28 times to get a dunk when he played for the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hilarious moments. That's just a question I have because it's like the dunk contest I still get hyped about, but I'm always like, what's going to be next? But I'm also like, I also put myself in that person's shoes, and I'm like, what they about to do? Because that dude's probably thinking to himself, what the fuck can I do for this crowd?
I'll be real. Sometimes I get, I haven't watched live a dunk contest or a three-point shootout.
You get
or
anxiety?
any of that shit. No. I just haven't watched them live.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like 90% of it is this dramatic build-up to all this shit, and it's all this.
You'd rather wait for the instant replay.
Bruh, Twitter has
It's quick. Yeah.
Instant.
And it'll let you know if it's bull or not.
Instant. Yeah. It's just like
you're like, oh, this is bullshit. Okay.
If I'm not watching it, if I'm just doing something else with my time instead of sitting down doing nothing, I'll just flip through my phone. I'll see all the highlights of everything. You know what I mean? I've seen the Aaron Gordon Zach LaVine one in full because it's so amazing. Watching highlights, that's stupid because you're
YouTube
watch,
that.
Because
If
you're
you
gonna
haven't
watch,
YouTube
you're gonna watch
it,
the whole thing.
If you have, even if you're not a basketball fan, YouTube that. It'll blow your mind. These dunks.
But,
just athletes.
I'm just more enamored by the game. You know what I'm saying, than anything else. So I like dunks and I like 3-point shootouts and I like skill
that's why we watch it. We love it.
But I like the game, and so the game to me is fascinating. I love the way it evolves. Like watching college basketball this year, even though my team sucked and
Kentucky had a rough year.
But
first time Kentucky Louisville not in the NCAA tournament in a while. It was kind of weird.
And Duke.
Yeah.
But
shout out to Western Kentucky.
Some of these teams, like the way Baylor played, the way Gonzaga played, the way Alabama teams played. There's a lot of evolution coming into the college game. It's going to be really good.
And it's cool to see the SEC getting better. I mean, I love seeing the SEC get more competitive, better, and because the SEC tournament's one of the best things in the world in Nashville, and it's a lot of fun. But so Frankie, I want to
blow your mind.
Blow my mind. I want to know this fact. Yes,
we're gonna rewind.
Okay.
Back to sauces.
Oh,
because we totally got off sauces because I told you I was picking up Arby's for my girl.
Yes.
See, you're high.
Yeah.
See, I smoked sleeves out. All right, so
the sauce.
I was picking up the berry, whatever that shit, at Arby's. But you wanted to talk about sauces.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about sauces for? You said you really wanted to talk about sauces.
Oh, was that Bronco Berry sauce? I
Oh, that's
I wanted to blow people's
about.
mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get into like wing sauces and all that.
Oh, okay. Well, let me get into.
No.
If you want
we just got off subject because
Okay.
I brought you all the way back.
Yeah, we can get into wing sauce. Yeah, I'm ready. What sauce?
Well, we always do wings at our wrestling shows
Yeah.
and everything. So, you go hot?
Ooh, I do.
You like to go hot?
I like to go medium.
I already know. All
I like
these
to go
answers,
medium.
like you do.
I like to go medium.
Yeah.
I like to go medium, and here's the thing: I like medium like Asian Zing, but the best wing in
Asian
town is Big Al's Burritoville Caribbean. It goes hard,
But-
and I shout out to Mike there, Big Al's Burritoville on Melwood. It's a good wing. But what about Mama's Mustard? Do you like those wings?
I haven't had.
They're fucking fire. Like
Next time.
next time, that's what we're gonna have at the wrestling party.
Oh, except I'm trying to go to Double or Nothing.
Oh, AEW Double or Nothing.
You trying to go?
I'm trying to go. I'm thinking about it because when
Yeah,
is it
Eddie.
again? What's the date again?
May 30th.
Woo!
Tickets are not on sale yet. But I already got
Where's it at again?
Jacksonville.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's
look,
dope.
I already got my hotel room.
Oh shit!
I already got a beach trip. I'm going from there to the beach. As soon as I'm going to.
That
me
sounds
and my
fun.
girl are
It's just
gonna.
a weekend? Like a weekend?
Well, it's Sunday, so I'm gonna go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Ooh, that
We'll
would
go
be
Sunday
dope.
and stop in Jacksonville, watch that. As long as I get tickets, which I should be, once they go on sale, I'm gonna grab them. But then we're going to Destin from there for 3 days.
That
Just-
sounds awesome.
Just relaxing.
I might have to do it. I'm thinking about it. I got to figure out the schedule.
Get
but
Eddie Rice.
Get Eddie go to Jacksonville.
Get Eddie, we'll all go to Jacksonville.
That would be a lot of fun because it's just Jacksonville would be a fun city. Go check out, especially with A&W doing the wrestling match at the arena, the stadium. I mean,
But
the stadium down there is dope.
They might be 100% capacity. Daly's place just got okay. They're about to have a Machine Gun Kelly concert at the end of April
Oh,
at 100% capacity.
let's see how it goes.
UFC's having a 100% capacity show at the end of April, and then Double or Nothing's not for another month. So if they might be back at full capacity.
I'm telling you, it's getting that way. I mean, I will. I'll be fully vaxxed actually middle of May, and I actually. I think it might be time to celebrate. So we'll see. I might have to go check out this AEW pay per view. But here's the thing. I want to thank Frankie for being on this pay per view. Just kidding. This podcast, and I want to appreciate everyone again, or say how much I appreciate everybody listening, all the support, the love. I want you to learn something from today. I hope you did. We talked about a lot of interesting things. We dove into tons of stuff. He was a perfect guest. Frankie, shout out your barbershop and tell them how they can get in contact with you.
All right. Barbershop is the Vintage Barber Lounge, 1042 Barstown Road, right across from Nirvana and Oneness. 3 doors down from the tap room if you're a regular at tap.
Yeah. Very commonplace.
I work on a Booksy app. It's real easy to use. If you want, you can just book an appointment with me on my Instagram at Frankie Scissorhands, at Frankie_Scissor_hands.
And that's FRANKIE, not FRANKY.
Yeah, FRANKIE_Scissor_hands. There's a button that says book now. It'll show you my entire schedule. You can book on there whenever you want. I work 6 days a week, and if not, I got my dude Spence, my dude Snoop. Shout out, they're always available. Shout out to Razor Trey. Shout out to everybody.
And if you want to talk to Frankie about health, fitness, wrestling, anything, reach out. Very personal guy, very friendly, so he'd be happy to hear. And we definitely want to get some love from this podcast. You can always reach me at Vibing With Sleezy, the podcast on Instagram, vibingwithsleazy@gmail.com if you want to email me. Always reach out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever. I'll always reach back. Again, just can't tell you enough how proud I am to be at episode 9, over 500 downloads.
Proud of you too, bro.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, Frankie, saying that. And right now, 14 platforms. Go find it: Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Again, I'm actually going to try to venture to Nashville next week, and that's the plan. Not 100%, but hopefully going to get down there, get this YouTube formatted once we get the channel going. Of course, this episode,
we making you go. We making you go. We gonna make you go.
And this episode is recorded, of course, video-wise, just like the audio. But thank you all for the support, and we are out.
Hey.
Peace.
That's the bottom line, motherfucker. Stone Cold Sleazy. UK football is what I care about. It's a Conte fucking beer. Embassy Suites, because I can afford that shit. I might not look like it, but I'm balling and I'm making more than you. It's